favorite color. But listen, people, it's time. And when I say it's time, it's all charged in the atmosphere. It's ripe because we can taste it. We can feel it. Things are moving in our direction for justice for all. It's not a coincidence that when we turn on the TV and they're talking about the incarceration is costing the taxpayers too much money. Now that, you know, everybody is getting jammed up about the abuse. Okay, y'all come on in, baby. Y'all in the right place. Come on in, have a seat. I want you to dial Corey Sanders' phone number. I told him we'll be calling him about 7 o'clock. What time is it, cousin?
5 till.
So let's get him on the phone. But we're not going to let the government shut us down. We're not going to let the government shut down, stop us from moving and shaking this whole state. We have a voice, and it's time for our voices to be heard. While the phone is ringing, turn it down some, baby. We're going to have, come on, baby, if you answer.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice.
Carolyn is going to tell us, she's going to tell us the name of the organization that she's with, and that we're networking and working together on this front. But it is a very, very important front that we have to educate our community about, people, because it's real. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Belinda. My name is Carolyn Monteith, and I'm here tonight representing the new Jim Crow Task Force of the North Shore Unitarian Universalist Church in Lacombe. And I really appreciate Belinda inviting us tonight. A few years ago, Louisiana United International, and the ACLU held a meeting at our church regarding the use of squirrel cages for mentally ill prisoners in St. Tammany Parish Jail. That meeting was attended by people of all races and all ages. The people at that meeting shared their experiences, and it became very clear to us that this is not just an issue of race, this is a community issue that needs to concern all of us. In the last 8 months, our task force has been meeting regularly to understand the destruction that the war on drugs has had on both brown and black men and boys and their communities within our parish. This destruction is also apparent for people who need drug treatment and mental health services. As Belinda said, 1 out of 86 people in Louisiana is currently incarcerated. This is the highest incarceration rate in the United States and, in fact, in the world. Thousands of our community people are suffering the designation of felony or felon and will remain so for the remainder of their lives. As state mental health hospitals have closed throughout Louisiana, prisons have become the new state hospitals for the mentally ill. Unfortunately, these prisoners will face the double whammy of labels, felony and mental illness. We applaud the Department of Justice's consent decree that ended the era of squirrel cages. We welcome the extensive mandate for change embodied in the consent decree. The key will be monitoring to ensure that all of the provisions are actually implemented and can be extended to the rest of the state of Louisiana. Thank you for beginning this journey with us today.
Very good. See, people, as the young people might be saying, it's going down. Did you announce the meeting tomorrow night at Tulane University with Michelle Alexander? Okay, go ahead. Do you know the time?
I don't know the time.
6 to 8.
Oh, okay, Terry, here. Why don't you give us that? Oh, yeah. Girl, I ain't taking no email today. Oh, okay. All right.
It's going to be held in Dixon Hall on the Tulane campus, and it'll be from 6 to 8 in the evening, and Michelle Alexander will be the speaker. Author of Mass Incarceration and Jim Crow.
She's the author. And you know what? This is not her first time coming to Louisiana. So she has embraced this state because we believe that Louisiana can be the model for the whole world to see what would happen when the change comes, and then it spread across the whole country like a wildfire. I mean, why can't we be the model? We the worst. You know, that sound like God to me. The last shall be first. Okay. All right. Corey is not answering his phone. He's in trouble. Okay, I'm going to call, Attorney Danny said call him at 7:15, but I'm going to go ahead and call him because we want to get this out the way with them. Hello? While we're waiting, we're going to have, hold up, baby. Just get him on the phone. Danny should answer. We're going to have Miss Mary Johnson come up and tell us what parish she's from and the great work that she's doing out there. You know, people, she invited me to a meeting about a couple months ago. Come on, Miss Mary. I mean, awesome woman. She said, Belinda, you know, I'm getting too old for this. I'm like, no, you're not. But I'm going to tell you, she is the fireball, people. It takes people like her that encourage me and gives me the energy and excitement to make this type of movement, you know, kind of like expedite it, you know, speed it up a little bit.
Good evening. I am Mary Johnson, and I am from Walker, Louisiana. That's in Livingston Parish. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with Livingston Parish.
Born and raised.
Born and raised, okay. I am the president of the Walker's Voters League, and it's not just for voting purposes. And I tell you, everything I've done in my life, that's been the most challenging position I've had. And the reason why is because it's keeping our people involved in community activities. We have so much going on in the Livingston Parish area, and we have our people just so laid back. And that's real challenging to me, when so much is going on in the school system, with the police department or whatever, and people don't take an interest until it hit their house. Other than that, they don't know anything about the Voters League or what we're about, but the minute something happens, they'll call and say, what y'all gonna do about it? And that really is a pet peeve of mine. But it's a very good organization where we try to keep all our people involved. And I think this art, after I met Belinda, it was just such an inspiration to me, because she's doing exactly what I've been trying to do to get us up and get us involved. We gotta stop sitting back and just letting things happen. And the enemy has come in, and they know how to attack us when they deal with our family, then our money. The first thing they say when you have a problem is money, because we don't have, they know most of us don't have money. So we suffer, and we be satisfied with that. I brought some people with me tonight that's really going through some challenges. I have a mother here whose son passed in the jailhouse. He was a mentally ill patient, and they knew that. And the attorney that she had, she talked about earlier, was telling her she was wasting her money. The child had called her and told her he was sick the day before. But he passed, and there's nothing she can really do about it unless we get behind her and we help support her in these efforts. We have another one son has been in lockdown since December of last year. In lockdown. Who ever heard of that? Right. But when you can't do anything about it, you're a witness to 2 years, because it's over a year for her. And it's a grieving mother. So it's just time for us to just really get involved. And I did tell Belinda, I'm getting too old to be dealing with all of this stuff. And we're trying to encourage our young people in that area to step up and just go forward with this stuff. But we're just too laid back. And my thing is, what do we need to do to get them inspired? Other than when it hit their household. And that's a challenge that I'm dealing with right now. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. I mean, you're talking about a dynamite woman. Okay, we have Attorney Danny Abel on the phone. We're going to give him 5 minutes to grace us with his presence by technology. Go ahead, Danny. We're going to plug you up here. Hold on. Okay, we got you.
Everyone, I apologize for not being able to be there this evening. We had some problems with some people who were illegally evicted from their home, and so we were trying to help them and get that done. But Belinda, and I have been talking about a type of action since so many people have had the courage and commitment to come forward. There is a type of legal action that you can do against governments that don't perform, and it's called the legal term is, the short term is weekend. What it really is an action when the government won't act or will not act appropriately. The citizens can come together as a group, as has obviously become necessary in a number of places in Louisiana, particularly St. Tammany. And the citizens can bring the action on behalf of themselves, because the citizens have standing to demand that government properly implement itself and properly perform its duties. The interesting thing about it, and thank goodness that we have, the Justice Department, now that we do, and thank goodness that we have their presence in St. Tammany. If the government looks if the Justice Department looks at the action that has been filed, they can come in and take over the action. I would not have been encouraged about that if the former U.S. Attorney was still in office. But since Mr. Foley, has now taken over as the new U.S. Attorney, I think we would welcome it. But as much as the Justice Department is very resourceful, the citizens are equally resourceful, and especially, as we've noted of late, the pastors and the ministers and the people involved in the various churches have stood up because they are the moral compass of the community, and they have the courage and integrity to look at a judge and look at a district attorney and look at Sheriff Jackson and say, no, you shall not do this to us. You are the citizens. You work for us. You have to do what is appropriate, and we will watch you, monitor you, and demand and force you to follow and comply with everyone's civil rights and constitutional rights. So we are in the process of putting together a quitam and some other actions. But the most important part of that is that everyone join in. If I had talked about this, or we had talked about this in St. County 5 years ago, when we first started in 2007, 2008, I could understand that people would be afraid, concerned. I don't think people need to be concerned anymore. The people who need to be concerned are the criminals who are holding public office in St. Tammany. And they really need to be concerned because the persons with the moral integrity and the courage are the pastors and the concerned citizens groups and the civil rights groups like Louisiana United, and people are just simply saying, as they should, we shall not tolerate this criminal conduct anymore, Mr. District Attorney. We shall not tolerate race-based prosecution, Walt Reed. And I don't know if Ms. Brown has talked to you about the Anton Atkins case or recently the Saron McGee case, but a jury consisting of 10 white jurors and 2 black jurors in Washington Parish not only found Mr. Anton Atkins not guilty on the fabricated charges, they came back and the jurors, once again, 10 white jurors and 2 black jurors, I know 10 years ago nobody would have believed it, but they have said publicly that they thought the district attorneys were involved in the fabrication of evidence and the perjury committed by the officers who they called to use their main witnesses, as their main witnesses. So we're making some progress, a lot more progress. As again for not being able to be there.
Thank you, Danny.
And thank you very much. As always, no doubt, I probably talked too long.
No, you did good. Thank you, buddy. Yes, people. This is a fact that we didn't call them red-handed. Okay? So, when I say it's a new day, it's a new day. Yes. Yes. He's excited. This man right here is excited, him and his wife, because their daughter is in jail for 2 years. And they got a visit from the attorneys from New York that's coming down here, and they're going to help her. No doubt. Sometimes you got to go out, people. We got to go way out to get some help. But I'm here to tell you that we are moving and shaking this state. And we have somebody here that is from, what parish you from? Okay, would you come on up, sweetheart, and tell us what you guys need? What you're going through out there. This story almost made me, it made me cry, but it almost made me just want to get up and pack up and just move to their parish just for the fun of it. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Salita. I have my associate, my road dog right here, Mr. Brian Coleman.
Mr. Brian.
for hours, right?
Right.
And we have Miss Molette here, and we have Miss Curry, I'm sorry, all the way here.
Okay.
And she has a story similar to the one you guys were talking about her son being locked up for her something he didn't do. I'm here because, okay. Can you hear me, you guys? I'm sorry. Okay. You guys, in Rapides Parish, we have our own problems, but what me and Brian does, we are fighting other parishes' problems. We're dealing right now with Jackson Parish, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with Jackson Parish, but it is a terrible parish. This young man is dead, as you can see. I don't want to gross you out. He was 14 years old. He lived in Eros, Louisiana. They said he drowned, but he can't swim. He doesn't like water. We're working closely with his family because we want answers. We want to know why you said he drowned when he has marks all over his body saying he didn't drown. I hired a private investigator, and point blank, the private investigator was told to stay away from the case because the persons that are involved has someone who's an FBI agent in the family. So he was told to stay away from the case. And we overheard the mother of one of the perpetrators, tell us which one murdered him. So these two young boys who did it are out playing and having a good time, and he's dead. He died June the 6th of 2011. We're fighting this one. We're having one right now in Jonesboro. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Jonesboro, the mayor, Leslie Thompson, and Willie Joseph. Willie Joseph is facing time, so right now, Mayor Thompson is in jail right now. We sat in the courtroom, and I'm telling you, that was a kangaroo court. That's what it was. He had nobody on the jury that was of his peers. And they convicted him of 3 malfeasance counts, of stuff he didn't do. Nobody found anything wrong with him, but he's in jail. He asked the judge to recuse himself because guess what? Everybody there is connected. The police chief's mother-in-law is the clerk of court. The judge's wife is affiliated with the bank. Mr. Joseph overheard the vice president of Jackson State Bank and the ex-mayor make a remark about putting a bullet in the mayor's head. He went to tell somebody. 2 days later, they came to his house and arrested him for battery. He didn't touch anybody. They have a video showing that he didn't touch anybody. So these people are being raped through the system because they don't have no money.
Come on now.
They have no money. Mr. Joseph has no money. He has 4 kids and a wife. He has no money. We've been working very closely with trying to raise funds so he can pay a lawyer. So we're in a state now, Louisiana needs help. And Louisiana needs to stop pretending like everything is all right. And that Jim Crow is not gone. It's not gone. Jim Crow ain't gone. It's still here. They just do it through the legal system. That's all. So I want to thank you guys for I want to thank you guys for excuse me? I'm not with the organization.
We're encourage them to get organized and mobilized out there so we can all connect and unite together, because at some point in time, they're going to need, you want to talk from your seat here, baby, you can stand right there.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to, my name is Brian Colton. Selena and I are associates, do a lot of community work together. But one thing I want to add is that with this incident in Jonesboro, I want you to know your good governor is also involved in it. He signed legislation which only applied to Jonesboro, which sent in a physical administrator. This physical administrator now goes into this town, overrides the council, overrides the mayor. The council voted in a new mayor because of Mayor Leslie Thompson was incarcerated falsely. The new administrator said, I'm not going to pay it. He has that right under this bill that was signed by the governor. Also, your state legislators are. So this thing goes deeper than just the local folks. This is deep embedded racism. And if you look at the history of this town, I think a week after the mayor got elected the first time, the people who, the folks who used to run the town put out a recall on him. He didn't have even a chance to show himself. The clerk who did the dirt, the mayor would sign the checks, the clerk would not pay the bills. It was set up. So when they didn't pay the bills, they said the mayor was stealing, but it wasn't the mayor, it was the clerk. But the clerk is related. It was all set up. So what we have is, just like in Rapides Parish, we have some ladies here. We have one lady, Miss Mollett, who always witnessed the neighborhood, how our youngsters are being, one guy I think told her he's been the last 2 weeks, he's been stopped by the police 15 times. We have another lady here, her son was accused of murder. And she has proof, even was charged before the autopsy, and the autopsy proved he didn't murder, but he's still been murdered. Now he's been tortured in jail. So we have so many things that are going on throughout this state. Everything from political play to keep us out of office, to everything else from Winfield, Jonesboro, Alexandria, Pineville, all over. So we just definitely look for you guys to pay attention.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. The message that he's sending to us, people, is that if you're not a part of the good old boy system and you're not in the clique, so that's the reason why that we're going to expose them. We have to. So we're going to use the World Wide Web, all the social media that we can get our hands on. We want their names, their faces with their names, because a lot of times people don't know names, but they know faces. And we're going to paste them on the World Wide Web. You know, I done had the Washington Post contact me, the, 2020, and MSNBC gonna eat this story up because they did the same thing in Michigan. You talking about this emergency manager? And I know the governor mimicked everything that go on in Michigan because, you know. But we're winding down this meeting, people. And I want to say this to you. If you came here tonight and you feel like you're alone and that you just feel like you don't have nowhere to turn or nobody to talk to about what it is that you're going through, we are a team. We have a team of people. We call them the Criminal Justice Task Force Team. We are partnering with organizations across this state that's saying they have had enough of this. So, I want to acknowledge Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, would you come up for a minute? Mr. Gus Davis. Miss Hattie Brown, would you come up? Do we have any other people? Bill, would you come up for a minute? talk about, Mr. Davis, you just got out of a national, state convention. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about that, what they were talking about.
We were at the state convention in Baton Rouge from Thursday to Sunday. Former Governor Edward Edwards was our keynote speaker Sunday night. And he was, I had to come back home Saturday, but I got to, so they sent it to me on the computer, right up in advocate, him being there. But about Jonesboro, we made a resolution. Some of the people that were there, the lawyer that was handling Jonesboro is named Scott. So he was asking for help. So the NAACP made a resolution to send for our legal team out of Baltimore, Maryland, to see if they can give them help. And they told the story. They told the story about what was going on, and she said it was a setup. And as what she said about Jim Crow was in the old days. They got right now, as Reverend Al Sharpton said, Jim Crow Esquire. They're in position to do it, and grin in your face doing so. So we on top of it. You don't hear a whole lot about the NAACP, but the lawyers and the stuff that's going on in Baton Rouge. We have a lot of lawyers in Baton Rouge because of the great law school there. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on that we don't hear in the newspaper, but we have a lot of people in the office that they're doing. The governor is against everything that's right for the people. Y'all see it on the news. Everything is going right. Whatever he's doing, he's not caring about anybody. But the NAACP is on top of it. We move when we can to make the right move, and our president, Mr. Ernest Johnson, he's really on the ball. But we're there doing whatever we can. You don't see us in the paper a whole lot unless something big happens, but we're doing things that people don't see us doing.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. And one of the things that he has been very supportive of this local, because we know the NAACP, they're limited to some things that they can do on a local level. But here with Louisiana United International, a force for justice, we're going to push them up and push them out to do some of the things that they're supposed to be doing, okay? And drag them, pull them, shake them, whatever we have to do to stand with us on some of these issues that we're facing. Thank you.
My name is Hattie Brown. I'm the president of Community Leaders. And what we do, we bring all these people into a meeting and we let the people ask questions or things they need to know. We have the judges, we have the mayor, we have the councils, we have all of them that come in the meeting. And people need to show up because we aiming and we met Mr. Brown and we became partners. We all working to solve the problems in our community, which is really bad.
Yes, very good.
Very good.
Miss Hattie, how long you been at this?
Ooh, since 2001.
That's a long time. Okay, I know you've been at it longer than that, Miss Hattie. She been fighting, she told me, she said she been fighting on her own front for almost 30 years.
That's right.
So I told her, I said, well, Miss Hattie, look like God done sent you some help. Because see, the good thing about it is that we have to acknowledge these people that's been in the trenches for this long, people. Been fighting this battle on her own.
Yes.
Don't do this to me. I need you just as much as you need me. We need each other. We have to work together. We have to unite on a strong, united front to be a force. See, they won't know that we are a force until they see the force. And the force is the people.
Hello, I'm Bill Pomeroy, and we have an organization, 1 6-year term limits. The idea is if we change, most people are good people. Most people are good people. I've asked a lot of people from all different backgrounds over the last couple of years, what percentage of the people you know are fairly good people, whether Republican, Democrat, male, female, any country, people from other countries also. And I come up with 80 to 85% of all people are fairly good people. The problem is we have bad people at the top. And they don't actually start out that way. When they're running for office, they really do understand that oath that they take for the common good. But when they get in there, the powers that be say, you're going to do this or you ain't going to last. We're going to get something on you and you're going to have to stay that way. What we have here are 20 percenters. Of all the population around the world, 20% of the people are highly motivated. You're 20 percenters. What we're going to do is pass this on to more people in our enlightened self-interest to help them understand how we can do this efficiently and effectively. So everybody get registered to vote, get other people registered to vote, because we outnumber those bad people. The Republicans that are holding up the government right now are in the minority. And they're going to mess with us for a while, but get registered to vote and we'll do the rest of it. We'll get these people out of jail and correct the system so we don't all become part of the system.
Thank you, Bill. Give him a hand. He's doing some great work, people. I have Miss Bunny. Could you come up, Bunny? And I want Mr. McGee to come up. See, it's very important that we see the power in this room. When we're united, this woman is doing great work. Come on and tell us. I mean, this is a real soldier, people. Look at her. I'm talking about, this is a drum major for justice. She invited me in her church, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm the only black person up in here, but I feel like I'm at home.
Belinda did, I mean, this is off the top of my head, but I've been an activist for a long, long time. When I was first married 200 years ago, my husband and I moved to Virginia. And for the first time in my life, and I was a young wife, I became a Republican because I grew up in a Democratic family. But it was a Republican young governor by the name of Linwood Holton who defeated the Dixiecrats, remember them? And I just got so disgusted with the Democratic Party that I did the unthinkable. I didn't tell my dad and mom that I had done that because although I knew they wouldn't disown me, they would not have been happy to have a Republican in the family. So from that time on, say 25 years of age, I have been very, very active in racial matters. It's important. It's important for all of us to commit and to do, not just talk. Talk is cheap. But we do have to set our foot forward and forget that we're scared. And then we don't be scared anymore.
Don't be scared. Thank you, buddy. I admire this woman, because you can look at her and tell her that she's been in the trenches. And she's serious about what she's doing. Very serious. So with that said, I'm going to have Mr. McGee. And then I know we're winding our meeting down. We got to get out of here before 8 o'clock. I mean, that's everything. Everything done. Sign up, membership, everything done. 8 o'clock, we out of here, Pastor. We leaving your church tonight.
I just want to say that Bonnie is one of our former vice president of the NAACP.
Wow.
And our church also support our organization.
Wow, give her a hand. Go ahead, Mr. McGee.
Hi, my name is Jerome McGee. How y'all doing? I was incarcerated in St. Tammany Parish. I've been living in St. Tammany Parish most of all my life. About 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, they accused me of distribution. And they took me to jail and put my fine at $75,000. And they told me I had needed like $9,000 to get out. I went to court for the first time and they offered me 60 years for they accused me of 3 grams of cocaine and they offered me 60 years. They tried to give me the triple bill. And I had a lawyer went to go talk to Walter Reed because he had my case and he had another person's case. And and her husband was involved in it. It was like something happened in Mandeville with the mojo. They tried to say she was supplying different places. So he went to Walter Reed with both our cases. They white, I'm black. They never been in trouble before. So they went to Walter Reed and they went to the office. He came to see me right before. He said, I'm gonna try to get you 2 years in jail. And if I can't get that, I'm gonna at least try to get you some probation or 5 years or something like that. I said, all right. So he went to Walter Reed and he sat down with both our cases. And he came back like a week later. When he came back, he said, Walter Reed didn't want to give you no 2 years. He offered you 60 years. I said, 60 years? I said, what you told me was, he said, 60 years. But not knowing, when he went in the meeting with Walter Reed, I had got like swapped out. So when I called the lady, I knew the lady who he went in there with Walter Reed about, so I talked to her, and she's saying that she talked to her lawyer, but her lawyer didn't tell her nothing like that. So I'm like, but they offered me 60 years. She didn't want to tell me, so come to find out, they swapped me out. So when I found out they swapped me out, I had to fire that attorney because this attorney is the same person with her, and they swapped me out, so I fired him. We had spent like $3,000, so we lost out on that, and I hired another attorney. And when I hired this attorney, she went to Walter Reed, and her and her brother went to Walter Reed to try to figure out why they trying to give me 60 years for 3 grams of cocaine. And she don't understand, and she's saying she's trying to show them my papers that it wasn't me, but they not trying to hear that. They know I got swapped out already, so I got to pay the price for these 2 people that they done swapped out. So they offered me 60 years. So they set the appointment up. Went in there with Walter Reed. She said her and her brother sat down, and Walter Reed was on the phone. He pressed back and forth a couple of times. He told her to wait, and then he stopped. He put the pen down. He put the phone on. He said, what are you in my office for? And she was like, well, I'm here about that Jerome McGee case. He said, Jerome McGee. And while he was saying that, the other DA walked in. That's Ronnie Graginet. He's under Walter Reed. So he walked in. He told him, oh, McGee, this that Jim Norman case. Remember a year ago they came in with that Jim Norman case? And he said, yeah. And he asked my lawyer, he said, is he black or white? And my lawyer said, her brother, both of them attorneys. So then she's like, black or white? She said, he black. He said, if he black, give him 60. If he blink at that, give him life. And I get out of my office. So she was like, well, what the black or white? He said, I don't want to hear nothing about it. If he blink at that, give him life. So she came back and told me. So now, as time been on, I'm still sitting in jail. Now I've been in jail for like a couple months now. So all this whole process lasted 2 years. So she came back another time. She said, you know what? This was my attorney. She didn't even have to tell me this. She had a white client and she had another black client that was on her case. So that was on the same case together, the white and black client, but you can't represent both of them. So she said that she went to court, and this was after that happened with me. She went to court and she said she went to the DA and she said, well, I'm trying to get my client. She had a white client. She said, I'm trying to get my client a deal. And the lady told her, we can't give him no deal right now because they got another black guy on this case. And if we give him a deal, they're going to know what's going on. My attorney is white. So she was like, so now she seen what's going on with the swap out deal, you know what I'm saying? So they giving this one and taking this one. That's what's going on in St. Tammany Parish. And you gonna take the plea because how St. Tammany Parish is right now, the court system, y'all probably never been in the bottom of the courthouse. When they take you to court, you're gonna be chained down just like this. So you're going in the bottom of the thing. So then they put you in different cells. They got 42, they got 50, and they put you in there, but you still chained like this. And the air condition turned to like 69. So now you confined in this one little room with about 20 people, or how many people in there freezing. So you ain't gonna go to court till you make it there about 8 o'clock in the morning, but you ain't gonna go to see the judge till about 12, so you freezing. Right. So once you down there freezing, and you get up to the courthouse, and you get up to if they bring you up, they might not bring you up, they might send you back, but if they bring you up, they're gonna offer you a plea. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be like, the first bad plea, you're gonna be like, I ain't taking that. They might say you gonna give you 15 right now if you take that, but if you don't take that, you go to trial, we're gonna give you life. So you gonna say not guilty because you automatically plead not guilty. So you go back to the jail, and then you gotta go back again a month later in that freezing cold again. So when they come back again, they might say, well, look, take these 5 years paper right now, and you ain't even gonna make it to trial. You're gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna take these 5 years paper, so I won't have to go back through this same freezing and cold. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but they offered me 60 years. I went to trial. I ain't had no choice because if you take 60 years, you can't give it back.
That's right.
But if you go to trial, you got a chance of going back in court to give it back. So I ain't had no choice but to go to trial. But I went to trial, and I had Tim.
Tell what we did. You put your face on it.
Miss Brown, I met Miss Brown while I was in jail. Miss Brown, she came through a lot for me, a whole lot. It was God, because I didn't understand how it happened. It was God. So I didn't even know her. I didn't even know nothing about it. It just came. And when she came, it was just like I felt the presence of God. It gave me hope while I was in there because she was giving me confidence. But they put flyers. Ms. Brown had churches helping me. They put flyers, and I went to court, and they had the news lady in there, so they really couldn't mess up because Ms. Brown had the news lady in there. So with the news lady in there, but most people is not lucky like that because you don't get news people in your trial or get news people. They can do what they want. You see what I'm saying? So I had the news people, and then I went to trial, and I thought I was gonna get life in prison. I ain't no way I thought I was gonna be St. Tammany. It just, but God was with me. That's what did it.
Listen, people, this is real. He was facing life in prison. You trying to tell me about your son, baby? Okay. That's Miss Rucker, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Brian Walker. He had he's been in trouble all his young life. And they offered him 20 years, he did not take it. He went to trial for the 2 charges that they gave him, flight for an officer. They put aggravated flight for an officer to make it a felony. They also gave him aggravated obstruction of the highway while he was still in jail.
But we don't.
He put that charge on him. But they offered him 20 years, he did not take it. He got found guilty of the 2 charges within 5 minutes.
But listen to this, though. The most interesting thing about her case is that the DA that was prosecuting him, they went to school.
His head investigator. My son has known him since he's this little and he can't stand him.
Did y'all hear that?
We paid a lawyer who told my son to take the deal.
No, wait a minute. We stuck on the fact that this DA should have recused himself from the case immediately. Okay? So, this is the problem, people. Right. We got an attorney in the house. This DA should have recused himself immediately. But this St. Tammany Parish people.
He does not give a damn about my son.
Okay, wait a minute. We're in church now. Hold up.
I'm sorry.
He said, you know, this pastor is so cool and down to earth. We can have a party after this meeting. But I got some more. I know it's got some people here. If it's anybody, are you done? Miss, you done? Okay.
The story about her son is true because I was in jail and I know Brian Rucker. I've been knowing Brian Rucker a long time. I only been home for like 3 months, but I know the story about Brian. And the way it happened, if you look into that story, you'll see the same thing. They did it bad. I know Brian. I know your son.
But you know what?
How much time did they give you in trial? For me, when you went to court, what did they give you?
For me,
They didn't give him no time. He got found not guilty. He's standing here with us today. He didn't get life. Oh, we put it out there, people. We exposed them. Okay? What time is it? Because okay, we got 15 minutes. No, we don't have 15 minutes. We got 3 minutes for anything that's hot and burning that somebody just got to say because we got people that then came a long way. Okay? And then we got one announcement that we need to make, an important announcement.
Oh, my name Betty.
So you got 1 minute.
And
You got to go. Okay, let's talk about you.
I was faithful to my landlord, and he came to my house and he brought me a victim notice. And I thought it was a handwriting victim notice, found out that it wasn't. So now, my victim notice was today. to move out, so I don't know where I'm gonna end up at on the street or whatever. And I was paying him faithfully. And I got on the news, and when I got on the news,
Yeah, she exposed the landlord on the news. Then the landlord came back and decided that he was going to evict them for putting it on the news. But the sewer and stuff been running loose in the house, all over the place. Okay, and the family members and stuff been getting sick. And it's just injustice, people. So we're going out there to help them organize out there in that parish and get something going out there so that we can support their efforts. Mr. Charles has been working hard, and it's so important that we help each other. We got to sacrifice ourselves to help somebody else, okay? We also have applications here for people to sign up and join up with us tonight. We cannot do this, people, without a movement, without people joining up with us. If you don't have $25 to sign up with us tonight, you can go online and sign up. You can go to our website. It's so important, people, that we do this, okay? Patrick, you have an announcement?
I'm Patrick Miller with the Democrat Party Executive Committee. One of the things that we have been talking about tonight is getting rid of some of our politicians. We need to replace them with good quality private people. And that's one of the things that the Democrat Party is focusing on in St. Tammany Parish. We're starting at St. Tammany Parish, and we're going across the state of Louisiana, and then we're going to hit the nation. Because we have to support the policies that are going to support the issues that we have in this country. So on October the 19th, which is a Saturday, in Abita Springs, the Democrat Party is having a festival. It's called a Blue Dad Festival. We're going to turn this state blue. Come on. We're getting rid of Bobby Jindal. We're going to be introducing our candidate for governor. So if you want to hear him speak, this is going to be his first public speech. He's actually going to be announcing that he's running for governor. He's going to be at the festival. The festival starts at 12 o'clock. It's going to end at 6 o'clock. We're going to have food, music. We got gospel music, bands. Louisiana United International is going to be there taking applications. So if you other people want to come out and sign up, we're going to have the Road Home Assistance Network team. It's going to be out there. There's going to be several different organizations. The NAACP is one of our sponsors. So it's going to be in Abita Springs, at the Abita Springs Trailhead. There's activity for the kids. There's all sorts of stuff that you guys can do out there in that area. So you guys try to come out.
If you live in St. Tammany Parish, I wanted you to wait, son, that they can only, could you come up, Mr., I didn't get your name, but could you come up? Are you going to share this with us right quick? I'll give you 1 minute. This man got something hot and burning, people. Anybody else got anything hot and burning? Because we got to get out of here. You got something hot too? Okay.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eldridge Allen, for the ones who don't know me. I'm from Covington. I've been here all my life. I was invited here tonight by Anthony Merritt, who's a friend of mine. Reading a paper, they're going to elect a new chief of police in Covington. And several years ago, I went to a jury trial against 2 police officers here in Covington. I was on parole at the time, so I had to have a parole revocation hearing. These two officers that arrested me that day came to my revocation hearing. I elected to go to jury trial. When I went to jury trial against these two police officers, they perjured themselves on the stand. That's how I won my case. And I work offshore, so I work overseas, so I'm going like 2 months at a time. So I just came home and I was reading the paper that they're electing a new chief of police. Lo and behold, I see this guy's name on it. I said, I know that name from somewhere. And it's one of the guys that perjured himself on stand against me, and he's running for chief of police of Covington. And I was just telling my friend I was going to give this lady my trial transcript to show that he perjured himself and his name is on it. So this community needs to know how St. Tammany Parish, the sheriff, Covington Police, how they have been doing things all their life. Here when they're elected.
What's his name?
Got to be exposed.
What's his name? Say his name. Say his name.
His name is Chris Lane.
There it is. All right.
Look,
How you been,
it costs money to do anything. Ms. Brown's website is up. She has PayPal on it. Give a donation because ink, paper, to put out flyers, to pay attorneys. This is not free. We got to pay for the movie. So please give a donation. Even if you're a member or not a member, give a donation. And I'm Minister Watts with Digging Defense, and I'm networked with Ms. Brown. Please, it takes money.
I just wanted to know when you were going to have another one of these meetings, because I challenge each and every one that's sitting here tonight to bring 2 people to that meeting. We need this place packed. We need people outside trying to get in. Because this is that important. So we got to have another one soon, Belinda.
She's absolutely right. And that right there is getting me fired up because what Attorney Danny was saying is that, it's some very powerful things we can do when the citizens and the people come together. And we have already witnessed that, people. We've been moving and shaking the state. Louisiana United International, a force for justice is ringing like a bell inside the prisons and the jails. So, hey, we're just connecting with people that's been here for this long and want to see some things change. We're going to make it happen.
I'm here because my mentally challenged son met a homeless girl out in Arkansas, and the girl had a disease-infested baby. And my son was going to be knocked off for his disability check, and the girl called me and told me to come get my son because we couldn't find him. When I went to go get him, the girl was living out of an empty abandoned store with her family with no running water, no utility or anything, and the living arrangement was very poor there. When my son came back here, we had tried to get help for her and her baby. My son told the doctor that he saw worms wiggling in the baby's boo-boo. And when we told the doctor, he said the baby had the virus and things. And I told him, can you check this little baby to see that came out of this empty abandoned store if she had worms wiggling in her boo-boo? And he said we would have to put her in the hospital. 3 weeks later, the girl baby died that came out of the abandoned store. My son and the young lady, her father came here from Arkansas from her being here 5 months. He was going to pick her up, take her back. The next morning, Sheriff Phillip had them to come in to question them. He said that the kids were being arrested and charged with 7th-degree murders for injury all over her body because she had parasite and funguses all over her from living out of that empty store and not being, she was malnutrition, she wasn't eating, and she ate a lot of sugar and a lot of bread a lot. Then once the baby had died, the sheriff went and took my son in the warden's office intimidated him and told him, put guns on him, and another one put gun on him. Coerced him, told him that, what did you do to that baby? I know you did. I know y'all black folks did something to that baby because y'all always doing something. And then my son said, we didn't do nothing. He said, I will shoot you. We will shoot you and kill you. And we would tell them that you flinched at us. And you hit the baby in the stomach. Then he said, no, I didn't. He said, what did I just say that you did? My son said, you said I hit the baby in the stomach. My son was beat, cut, tried to be raped in his place, hit in the stomach, bled and things. They put him in a hole, stripped him naked. They have not went to trial or anything because when I slapped information on them that that baby did not die, she had active peritonitis. Worms ate the girl's baby up on the inside. Now, they set the trial to next year of February because every time I slapped them, the prosecutor told me he wanted me to go against Portia. Them. I told him I would not go against them. He said that because of the death of that baby, they are going to pay. So I went to the judge. She told me I cannot get another lawyer for my son. I told him that the lawyer y'all gave me took my son's head, showed the inside autopsy of that baby, and pushed his head down in it and told him, this is what you done to that baby.
What parish are you from, baby?
I'm from Rapid Parish, in Rapid Parish Courthouse, jail behind the courthouse.
Just Rapid Parish?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, the same parish.
They're still abusing him.
All right, people, this is the reason why we have to organize and mobilize. There's some injustice that's taking place, and we know that we have a lot more people that's not even in this room tonight that are suffering a lot of these injustices. So we need to go out and tell everybody we know to get involved with this movement. Join up with Louisiana United International. Take Mary's advice. We only have meetings every other month. Hopefully we can start organizing and mobilizing more people to have more regular meetings. And we try to move around to different churches so that we can, expose ourselves to as much of the community as we possibly can. But we are a force for justice, and we're here to stay, and we're not going to go away until we get justice for all. Thank you for showing us tonight. Sorry, baby, but we gotta get out of here. I want people to come and sign up. I got my secretary over here. She's ready. All you have to do is write a check. You can pay cash or write a check. You can go online if you don't have the money with you tonight. Thank you, Mr. Davis.